This is the sixth gate of Kammasaka Zen, known as the Hands of the Master. This is Dharma talk number 2, and it's called An Exploration of Non-Duality and Spontaneity. In the philosophy of Zen, and the concepts of Zen, such as non-duality and spontaneity, are essential for those seeking liberation, freedom, from the illusion of the self and separation. At Kammasaka Zen, the sixth gate, also referred to as Hands of the Master, serves as a symbolic threshold for practitioners to experience and understand these concepts in their fullest expression. So the sixth gate embodies a unique approach to non-duality and to spontaneity, and it illuminates how these ideas are realized through direct practice, through mindful observation and the relinquishing of fixed identities. Through this lens, we see that the hands is not merely a metaphor, but an invitation to embrace a way of being that it transcends conventional boundaries. Non-duality in Zen is foundational. It reflects an understanding that the perceived separations between self and other, or life and death, good and bad, are simply constructs of the mind. In its essence, non-duality encourages practitioners to break through this illusion of dualistic thinking, revealing an interconnected reality where all distinctions begin to dissolve. So in Zen, this insight is more than intellectual. It also becomes experiential. And here at the Kammasaka Zen Monastery, the sixth gate represents this understanding of unity, by encouraging practitioners to go beyond mere concepts and to begin embodying the truth of non-duality. The hands of the Master, in this sense, it reflects the fluidity and the inclusiveness of all things. When a Zen practitioner passes through this gate, they metaphorically release the grip of ego, surrendering distinctions between master and student, right and wrong, or even inside and outside. This gate then represents an openness that is both inclusive and unyielding, a hand that neither clings nor pursues, a hand that neither clings nor pushes away, but allows life to unfold in its natural rhythm. So in practice, this understanding is cultivated through meditation and mindfulness, which encourages us as practitioners to observe our thoughts without attachment. And then, as the mind becomes less reactive and more observant, the practitioner begins to perceive thoughts and feelings and just perceives them as passing phenomena rather than definitive aspects of the self. And then through this, one realizes that the separation between observer and observed is illusionary. All is a seamless expression of the same universal reality. So the sixth gate, therefore it's an entryway to realizing this unity, guiding the practitioner to let go of their perceived separation from the world and to experience life more as a interconnected flow. And then spontaneity in Zen is the natural expression of non-dual awareness. When one fully embraces non-duality, action arises not from personal intention or contrived thought, but more from an intuitive responsiveness to the present moment. This spontaneity, however, is not impulsiveness. Rather, it is deeply rooted, unforced, and a natural way of being. So the hands of the Master, in this sense, symbolizes a spontaneous response that is, it's grounded in non-dual awareness. So, therefore, spontaneity is viewed as it's a surrender to the present moment, without imposing preconceived ideas or judgments. This requires profound trust in the flow of life and an openness to whatever arises. And Zen teachings often emphasize the metaphor of like a bamboo shoot, bending in the wind, responding to force without resistance or rigidity. And for practitioners passing through this sixth gate, then spontaneity is cultivated through the dissolution of personal attachment and conditioned responses, habitual conditioned responses. And then rather than acting out of habit or ego, one learns to act from an empty present mind that is in line with the truth of each moment. And as such, spontaneity can only arise when dualistic thinking ceases. So when the mind is free from habitual judgments and egoic motivations, it can become receptive to the subtleties of the present moment, responding with wisdom rather than with reaction. So the sixth gate invites the practitioner to embody this spontaneity, allowing their actions to emerge organically from a place of non-dual awareness. And by doing so, they learn that the true Master's hands, it's not a hand of control, but a hand that moves simply with the current of life. And then passing through this sixth gate means facing the illusions of self and embracing the emptiness that lies beneath it. So in Zen, practitioners are encouraged to investigate their assumptions about their identity, and observing how the mind constructs a sense of I based on habits, memories, and social conditioning. And then through meditation, through contemplation, introspection, and the practice of mindfulness, one can come to realize that the self is transient and insubstantial, more like a flowing river than a solid rock. And then in accepting this, we as practitioners are freed from the constraints of self-centered thinking, opening the way to a more fluid and spontaneous engagement with life itself. Emptiness, however, is not a void but dynamic potential. We've talked about this. It is within this emptiness that spontaneity also finds its roots. As actions arise, as they arise naturally, they also arise uncontrived. The sixth gate, thus, it embodies this freedom, encouraging practitioners to trust in the spontaneity that arises from an empty mind. And in doing so, they discover that true freedom is not in possessing control, but it's in releasing it, allowing actions to emerge from a place of inner stillness and unbounded openness. So symbols in Zen, like the Master's hand, points beyond words to a direct lived experience. The hand represents both the embodiment of wisdom and compassionate application of that wisdom in the world. So at the sixth gate, the Master's hand is not merely a guiding presence, but rather a symbol of complete integration. And to one who possesses this Master's hand is to embody both wisdom and compassion without separation, and responding to life's challenges with both clarity and kindness. And it's this integration that reflects Zen's commitment to practical application. So non-duality is not merely a theory to be studied, but rather it's a lived truth to be embodied. The Master's hand simply acts as a reminder that wisdom alone is insufficient. It must be complemented by spontaneous, compassionate action. And then by embracing this principle, we as practitioners can find that wisdom and compassion are not separate, but are expressions of the same non-dual awareness. So the hand moves in service to others, not out of obligation, but out of the recognition that self and other are one. This understanding is at the heart of Zen's approach to spiritual practice, which is less about attaining personal enlightenment and more about dissolving boundaries. Boundaries that separate one from the rest of existence. So the insights gained at the sixth gate are not confined to the meditation halls, but they extend into every aspect of daily life. And their non-duality teaches that the sacred and the mundane are not separate realms, but aspects of a single, unified reality. And then the true master's hands is as present in washing the dishes or speaking with a friend as it is in moments of profound meditation. When one acts from a place of non-duality, every action, no matter how ordinary, becomes an expression of Zen. And for those practicing here at Kamasaka Zen Monastery, this means bringing the principles of non-duality and spontaneity into our daily interactions, into our daily work, and also into our personal relationships. And by acting from a place of non-attachment and openness, they find their actions are more harmonious and more attuned to the needs of the moment. The sixth gate thus serves as a reminder that Buddhahood, it's not a distant goal, but it's a way of being that can be cultivated in each moment. So while the principles of non-duality and spontaneity may sound simple, they require profound discipline, and they also require commitment. Now, the ego often resists relinquishing control, and the mind tends to revert to dualistic thinking, and by creating artificial divisions between self and other. So then passing through the sixth gate is not a one-time event, but it's an ongoing process of letting go. Ongoing process of questioning and deepening one's understanding. So here at Kamasaka, practitioners are supported in their journey through various forms of practice, including meditation, koans, and mindful activities. And it's these practices challenge them to confront their attachments and their habitual patterns, creating the conditions for a genuine understanding of this non-duality. So the Master's hands becomes a powerful symbol of perseverance, reminding practitioners that while the path may be difficult, the rewards can be profound. So just to recap this gate a little bit. The sixth gate offers a profound path for those seeking to understand and embody duality and spontaneity. Practitioners are invited to go beyond the confines of dualistic thinking and to begin to experience life from a place of openness, fluidity, and compassion. And in doing so, they find that the boundaries between self and other, they begin to dissolve. And this reveals a unity that is both liberating and empowering. And that Zen's approach to non-duality and spontaneity, it's not theoretical, but practical, calling for a direct engagement with life's challenges and opportunities. So the hands of the Master then is both a guide and a destination, a symbol of the wisdom and the compassion that can arise when one moves beyond this illusion of separateness. So by passing through the sixth gate, practitioners take their first steps towards a life of spontaneous freedom. Spontaneous freedom that is grounded in the understanding that they are not separate from the world, but rather they are an integral part of its unfolding mystery. And it's in this way that the Master's hands points the way to the path of liberation that is open to everybody, open to all. Yet, realizing by those who are willing to let go and embrace the present moment in its entirety. That's the secret of the whole thing. Embracing the present moment in its entirety.